lined up for you. First up, we sit down with one of the fastest bowlers in world cricket today, New Zealand's Shane Bond. We've got all the highlights from the nail-biting first test between Bangladesh and Australia.
He's very elegant.
We'll take a look at the top 5 plays from the month of March. Plus, you'll have the chance to test out how well you know your cricketers with our Dubai Duty-Free Player of the Week segment and news on ICC Cricket World. Out of all the happenings surrounding New Zealand cricket in 2005, without doubt the most heartwarming was the return of Shane Bond. After 2 years out of the game and 2 aborted comebacks in that time, Bond returned on the tour of Zimbabwe last year.
Obviously, I was a little bit nervous about coming back after the surgery, but made sure I worked really hard and got myself as prepared as I could be, and I'm just pleased things are going the way they're going. They're probably going better than I expected, so I'm delighted.
Although his obvious talent has been on display, the 30-year-old has had an injury-plagued career so far. In May of 2003, Bond was diagnosed with a stress fracture in his back. It was the 4th time he'd been diagnosed with stress fracture. Just a year earlier, he'd recovered from one in his foot. After physical therapy, he attempted to return to action later that year, but was still not ready. He then passed a fitness test and was included on the 2004 tour of England. But the soreness still didn't go away, and he was sent home after just 1 tour match. A scan revealed another stress fracture, and Bond finally decided surgery was the only remaining option. Then it was a matter of rehabbing the injury and remodelling his action.
Basically, post-surgery, I had 6 weeks where I couldn't do anything, and then it was a matter of sort of walking and getting into the training. And once I got to a level of fitness that I was comfortable with, it was starting the bowling. And I suppose I just had to break my action down right to the top of my run-up, right through to the delivery. And it was only through a little bit of trial and error that we came up with what we've got, which is not very much different from what I had, but something that I was comfortable with and something that I was happy to go with.
In the months prior to the injury, Bond had wowed everyone at the World Cup in South Africa. He took 17 wickets in 8 matches, including 6 against eventual champions Australia, and often bowled at over 150 kilometres per hour. Upon his return to action 2 years later, there were worries that he wouldn't be able to bowl at the same pace, fears that have so far proven to be unfounded.
I think everyone talked about that, whether I'd have the same sort of gas. I think I don't try and bowl as fast as probably what I used to. I used to just run in and just try and bowl my fastest ball every ball, and I'm probably not like that anymore. I'm trying to be a little bit smarter, but I know that if I get it right, I can still bowl the same pace that I was before the injury.
Bond's return so far has been an unqualified success. His best figures in both forms of the game came in Zimbabwe during his first series back. First, it was 51 for 6 in the second test, and then in the one-day tri-series that followed, he stunned India with a blitz of 19 for 6. His statistics in both tests and one-dayers back this up, as his averages and wickets per game have improved since returning last year. Some had suggested that Bond wouldn't be the same after 2 years out of the game, but the Black Caps spearhead was confident.
I never lost faith that it wouldn't. I knew it would take a little bit of time, especially getting back into the bowling. It would take time bowling before I got back up to it, and it's the same now. If I have a break, it takes me a little bit of time to get back up to speed. So, that's just part and parcel of getting older, I suppose.
New Zealand are currently in South Africa for 3 tests. They visited the Proteas for a one-day series last year, but were soundly beaten 4-0. Since then, there have been a few fresh names injected into both the test and one-day teams, and results have started to fall the Black Caps' way again.
It's always exciting when you get new guys in the team. I think you always look back to when you started and how excited you were, and to see new fellas come into both the one day and the test team. I think it breeds excitement within the team, and it's exciting for those guys. And I think it's probably a reflection on the depth that we're starting to develop, especially in our batting, that we've got guys coming in and performing straight away. So obviously we've got a nice depth of players. Injuries, of course, if we get injuries to bowlers, it's always going to stunt us a little bit. But at the moment we seem to have a lot of our players fit, and then we're playing well.
After his performance in the last World Cup, Bond is looking forward to performing again on cricket's grandest stage. The Black Caps made the Super 6 last time and believe they have the players that can take them further in 2007.
The teams are pretty even all over the world, and it's probably going to be whatever team turns up on the day and whatever team can put their best 11 on the park. I think there are injuries all around the world. It's just part and parcel of the cricket. So I think even though we've got a couple now, if we can get our best 11 players on the park in the West Indies, we've got as good a chance as any. And I think we've seen even with South Africa batting Australia that the teams are so even, and as you say, we're just a matter of trying to prepare ourselves for the conditions that we're going to face over there, and once we get over there, turning up with our A game.
The improvement in Bond's numbers means he now has the best one-day international bowling average in the history of the game, 18.63. His one-day strike rate of 26.5 is also at the top of the all-time list. Despite this, Bond definitely sees Test cricket as the real challenge.
I think so. I think that's where you're tested and people reflect upon as to how good you were in the toughest environment. You know, I suppose I've had a good record in one-day cricket, but you've only got a limited amount of time to bowl and people can go after you and you can pick up wickets at the end and things like that. But I think in Test cricket you earn every wicket from number 1 to 11, so as you say, if I had to give up all my one days to play one Test match, then I would. But I think most of the players would be like that, and I'm just looking forward to playing some more Test matches in the coming years.
All Black Caps fans and cricket lovers the world over will be looking forward to seeing this great talent play many more games in both whites and colours for as long as possible.